In 1 Peter chapter 5, he's writing to the elders, which are the pastors of the church. And chapter 5 is primarily aimed at the pastors. But it's true for everybody. It applies to everybody. But one of the things that pastors and leaders tend to struggle with is anxiety and the pressure that comes from carrying the cares of the church. Paul said the cares of the church come upon him daily. It's like a weight. And it's a reality. It's a reality for anyone who's a responsible person. If you're a responsible business person, a responsible parent, a responsible mom, a responsible dad, you will deal with cares. And cares is just another word for anxiety or worry. And so what he says here in 1 Peter 5:7, he said, cast your cares upon the Lord because he cares for you. So if you care about it, you have to just know, if you care, God cares. He cares about everything you care about, except it doesn't hurt him. He doesn't worry. It doesn't create stress in his life. But he cares. You just have to believe he cares. In fact, the reason we often worry is we think that nobody cares but us. And we're the only ones responsible. And if we don't do it, it won't be taken care of. I remember my mom in her 80s. She was always worrying about me. Every time I called her or went to visit, she'd break down crying. She said, I worry about you all the time, because I was taking these mission trips. And I got to a point where I wouldn't even tell her where I was going or the fact that I was going at all, because it created so much worry for her. And I said, Mom, I'm not worried. I wish you wouldn't worry. There's nothing to worry about. And she said, well, I have to worry. I have to worry. And I said, why do you have to worry? It's just hurting you. And she said, well, somebody has to. And I think the more you love someone, the more you worry. The more you don't want anything to happen to them. And so it's funny when you have children, it's hard to believe that you could love someone so completely. And you start worrying, boy, I hope they don't go near the fence, go near the fire, go near, all these things that could happen. And it creates anxiety. And so, but there has to be a way to deal with that. And I think the issue is this. What Peter is telling the pastors is, okay, you care, and I don't want you not to care, but I don't want this care to hurt you. So what you do is you have to roll your care upon him, because he cares. And what I did to get this verse in my heart is I would take the responsibilities that I was carrying, people, plans, issues that we're struggling with, what to preach, where to go, the vision, direction. I would take any of those things that was creating care or anxiety, and I would picture his big hand, and I would really try to put it in his hand, and I would say things, Lord, I know you're not going to let this slip through your fingers. I know you're not going to put it on some shelf and forget about it. You will take care of it. You will take care of it. I'm making you responsible for what I'm responsible for, because it's too much for me. So I'm making you responsible. It's what Abraham did with Isaac. They're walking up to this mountain, and Isaac's carrying a bucket of coals and some firewood, a knife, and Abraham said, we're going to this mountain, we're going to sacrifice to the Lord. And he says, where are we going to get a lamb? He doesn't know it, but God told Abraham that he's to sacrifice Isaac, so he's the lamb. But how do you tell your teenage son, your only begotten son, that you're going to sacrifice him. And God said this. And so what Abraham said is very profound. He said, God will see to it. God will see to it. And it's the word Jehovah Jireh. It became this phrase that he kept in his heart. God will see to it. Jehovah Jireh. He will provide. I think we need to get Jehovah Jireh, that language, that understanding deep in our hearts. When I was a very young Christian in 1980, struggling with all kinds of stuff, having no money, no income, new baby, new family, I painted a picture, and I put Jehovah Jireh as big as I could right on the middle of our little living room wall, because I wanted to get that concept down in my heart. God will see to it. He'll look after it. And it has to become something we say. The more you say it, the more... There's something about saying it out loud that you hear it and it resonates in your heart, and it actually adds to your faith. There's something about saying it. When I'm worried and it's wearing away at my mind, if I speak the opposite of that out loud, it really does cancel a lot of the anxiety, or at least reduces the wear and tear of my soul. David would often speak to himself. Someone said, you're not crazy if you talk to yourself. You are if you listen. But David often would speak to himself, and I think there's power in that. Saying the opposite of whatever the enemy is putting in your head. So Peter's writing to pastors who are super responsible people, and I find the people who are worried the most are the people who feel the most responsibility. So it's not a bad thing. It's not like you're broken. It's just you're a super responsible person. And you have there's things you're responsible for, except if you carry that, it'll hurt you. So what you have to do is you have to make him responsible for the things you're responsible for. You say, Lord, I'm going to give this to you. I got a meeting at 2 o'clock. I'm worried about this meeting, how it's going to go down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this meeting in your hand, and I ask that you look after that meeting and you take care of the outcome. And I'm just going to win that meeting careless, carefree. I think that's what he's telling these pastors to do. And it's what I have to do all the time. It's my life, because I'm a person with lots of responsibility. Amen? So simple, yet it's not easy to do. And some people put it in his hand and take it out in the next few minutes, and yet you really have to trust him that he cares. I think that's the that's the crux of the whole thing. You have to believe that he really cares. If you care, he cares. Amen?